This is Garfield Kart Furious or Furious Racing. It's a racing game centered around the Garfield franchise that takes heavy inspiration from Mario Kart. Some of you out there may be asking why I own this game, and the answer is, I literally don't remember. I know I didn't buy it for full price in good conscience, but I also can't remember if it was gifted to me during a sale. Either way, I own it. The game has no story to tell or anything, just pick a character, specifically John Arbuckle, and go to the races. Actually, something this game does have is character stats and customization. Now, you know I love me some of that. Now that begs the question where the answer is definitely not in the video's title. Who is this game's worst character? Well, thanks to the comprehensive guide made by this person, that information is ready and available to anyone. Squeak is apparently the worst character and gets his own spot on the bottom tier. He has the lowest speed but high turning and mid acceleration. This person has a lot to say about Squeak, but I'll leave it at the last sentence they wrote, which says, use this character to take it easy on friends. To enhance your base stats, Garfield Kart has different hats and spoilers that you can unlock by completing races. Each hat and spoiler can increase your stats, but if a hat and spoiler are made for a character and are equipped together, you'll get an even bigger buff. But that's lame. Who needs fancy hats or junk on top of the trunk? I'll take the base car off the lot without the bells and whistles. So let's see if you can beat Garfield Kart Furious Racing using only Squeak and no upgrades. For this challenge, I'll be completing every Grand Prix on 50, 100, and 150cc. I also opted to use Nurml's base car. It has higher acceleration, but I figured the lower handling stat may pose more of a challenge. 50cc is quite literally baby mode. It even has a little bottle to represent how easy it is. This was a cakewalk, even for a non-start boosting, non-drifting player like myself. So while I show you some of the clips of my run-through of this, I'll talk about how the game plays and what to look forward to in 100 and 150cc. There are 4 Grand Prix with 4 tracks each. The game plays similarly to most modern cartoonish racing games. It's got drifting mechanics, a start boost, probably, and there are items you can get that will help you throughout each race. Lasagna is a boost. The gems are explosives and can either get you upon exploding, or you can pick them up and blow up on the move instead. The UFOs are interesting. I'm not sure if they only attack first place or the person ahead of you, but if you don't move through the green beam, they'll hold you in place for a few seconds and drop you back down. Perfume is this game's star power-up that gives you invincibility and a speed boost. Pies are like green and red Koopa Troopa shells. The regular pies are skill shots, and the robot-looking ones are homing attacks. Then there's the spring, which bounces you up and down, and the magic wand is a skill shot attack that can swap you places with whomever it hits. Lastly, the pillows put everyone but you to sleep for a few seconds. When you finish a race in a Grand Prix, you're awarded points. I've played a few racing games so far, and the point values always seem to stick in the single digits, but this game pushes the boundaries and awards you 16 points if you get first place. This is followed by 12 for second, 8 for third, and they keep going down by 2 until you reach 8th place, which is 1 point. What an absurd amount of points for a 4-track race. But remember, Ray, it's a game made for kids. It's not that deep. You can also keep track of where everyone is at in the race, not by a mini-map, but by this line that my camera is in the way of. Don't worry though, I've heard the feedback, and I'm going to make sure to not be in the way of the important stuff in future runs. There are also puzzle pieces scattered throughout each track too, with 3 to collect in total. They do absolutely nothing but show you full pictures of Garfield and friends from the TV show he had at the time. Finishing a Grand Prix in first gets you a new item to customize a car or character, along with a mobile game style victory screen to celebrate the occasion. And that's about it. This is just another We Have Mario Kart at Home type game, except there's no great value Rainbow Road. I had to bring that one in since I accidentally called it Rainbow Ride in the Sonic R video. I promise I'm not a fake fan. So let's begin in the first Grand Prix in 100cc, the Lasagna Cup, true to the Garfield name, a classic reference. The first track is called Cats in the Hood, starting off strong with the Boys in the Hood reference, but I'm more of a boys to men kind of guy myself. It's a race around the neighborhood, a short and sweet track. Oh no! However, Squeak is, how do I put this? Slow as It didn't help much that everyone except for me had at least 1 upgrade, and also that I didn't boost as much as I could have. I got 3rd place and moved on to Crazy Dunes. This track took us into an Egyptian desert area? I don't know, but the Garfield fans would. The first lap I was staying steady in 3rd place. That is, until the second lap when I sent John Arbuckle a pie. Free delivery. While Liz was busy getting abducted by aliens, I swooped on past and stayed in 1st place for the majority of the second lap. Wish I could say the same for the 3rd lap though. Dude, I got magicked? I got David Blaine's street magicked? What the f? just happened? This would keep me in second for the rest of the race with a close call at the end. All right, second place is okay. Now I was tied for second with being 4 points under first, but there's still 2 races left and plenty of opportunities to catch up. Next race is at Pale Rock Lake, and I was off to a great start. Something I noticed is that if you rear end someone else's car, you kind of stick to the back of them and they can drive you off the road. Can you get the f off of me? Midway into the track, there are 2 branching paths. The one with the boost seemed more appealing because who doesn't like to go fast in a racing game? Well, apparently Squeak doesn't, because my car flipped and I got respawned onto the track. This set me all the way back into last place. I fought to catch up for the next 2 laps, but Odie was just too far ahead for me to reach him. Another second place finish here, now 8 points behind first, but I could still turn it all around if I got first on the last track. This one is called City Slicker, which is a really weird name for a track. Per the name, it's a race around a dull city. Everything was on the line for this race though. I had to be first or start all over again. Oh, but the CPUs were very aware of this, and they knew exactly what to do. This is like making me feel like I'm playing Snowboard Kids again. Just getting relentlessly by items. Aha! No, I hit the wrong button! I hit B! Oh my god. Are you kidding me? I got relentlessly attacked with items, resulting in a disappointing second place finish in the race and overall. A lot of mistakes were made on my part in the first race of the Lasagna Cup, so replaying it, I had a better understanding of what went wrong and what I needed to fix. Basically, you gotta drift as much as possible. Squeak is so slow, and this is the only way to get ahead or maintain a lead. While this helped me get 40 points in first place going into City Slickers, each race wasn't without their fair share of shenanigans along the way. These guys are so mean. Excuse me, John. I would like your... Oh, no. That is such horse... I'm in mid-air. Why am I getting hit with magic when I'm in mid-air? Why is that allowed? Can you stop magnetically running his... I was feeling pretty confident going into this race since I had a 10-point lead, but the CPUs still kept me on my toes. Can you suck my dick, you piece of... Nearing the finish line in the final lap, Odie was in the lead per usual, until I struck him with a homing pie, forcing him to go out of bounds and allowing me to take first place in the race and a gold trophy in the Lasagna Cup. The next Grand Prix is the Pizza Cup, with the first track being Country Bumpkin. Okay, I'm pretty sure these track titles have to be a reference to the Garfield cartoon or comic strips in some way. The race takes place around a simple farm. I experienced more of the weird mechanic where you stick to someone's bumper if you hit them, and after crashing into enough walls, I got second place. Next up is Spooky Manor. It's weird though because the race is all outside, mostly on dirt road. Where's the Spooky Manor at? The only thing spooky about this course was how calm it was. Garfield and I were right on top of each other in the final lap, but drift boosting kept me in the lead. Mally Market is the third race here. Wouldn't it be cool if it took place in the market or had like a grocery store setting? That'd be too imaginative. Instead, I raced around the market and their parking garage. Furious racing indeed. Odie and Garfield were locking in on this race. It was a constant switch up between the 3 of us for first. The hitting wall strat wasn't working out for me too well this time, but at least I was on track to take second place. Hello? Oh my god, that rat. Damn it! I may have been down, but I wasn't out. One more race was left, and I had a small lead by 4 points. I really do seem to love these close finishes for first place. The last race is in the Valley of the Kings. Alright, another desert track. You race around the sandy roads and through what looks like some kind of ancient ruins. I had it pretty easy in the first lap, but per usual, something awakened in the CPUs, and they decided that I just couldn't have it like that for long. You f*** off. Oh my god. Yeah, we're so screwed. I didn't think there's there's no retry. It's just a one and done deal. That is rough. Garfield and I tied for second, which means it was time to run it back. I can't even believe this is only 100cc. I don't know what came over me during the next attempt, but I got first place in every single race. I wish I had more to say, honestly, but the tracks and gameplay are as plain as a nothing pizza with left beef, and it really all came down to just playing better. Now here we are in the third Grand Prix. Hamburger. Beginning in the Misty for Me track. Now this is a nice change up. The rain, the lighthouse, the ocean side. This is one of the first tracks that really felt like it has some life in it. Oh, and I nearly totally bombed this race too. Right off the bat, I drifted directly off the course. And then it happened again soon after. What the hell happened there? Then a third time. Holy crap. Why am I going so fast? Holy crap, what happened? After all that, I also got T-boned in midair. What the f hit me? What the f? Was I swagging too hard in the air and the game was just like, nope, you lose everything. Despite all of this, I stashed 3 lasagna boosts and got second. Sneak a Peek, that's the next track name. Now, hold on there, it's peak like High Point, not peak like Peeping Tom. I do love that the game completely broke its beginning of the race camera pan before it started. This track has some pillar hazards along with a few out of bounds drops, but you know I'd never run off a cliff. While that pushed me back, I kept up for the rest of the race, until the third lap. Oh my god, there's no way that just happened. The hand has collision. Oh, suck my... Getting second here put me in a 3-way tie for first. I feel like I've seen that one before. The third track is Blazing Oasis, and oh, look what we have here. Another desert track. I had him in the first half, then right before the beginning of the final lap, I got abducted by aliens and left off in third place. Halfway through, you have to drive around a canyon with a water hazard on the side. Thanks to the pillows, I almost met my driving off the cliff quota, but I woke up just in time. Why? I barely managed to take second after hitting Harry with the homing pie. 6 points ahead in the lead and onto the final track in Pastacosi Factory. Garfield fans, please don't be mad at me. I couldn't find out how to pronounce that properly. I could only imagine this is a lasagna factory, which is sick if so. Though for the final race in the Grand Prix, it was the most boring. John Arbuckle stayed right behind me for the majority of the time, but overall, it was a complete blowout. Time for the final Grand Prix, the Ice Cream Cup. The first race is in Mysterious Temple, and what's this? Oh goody, a desert racing track again. This one at least has you racing in the Mysterious Temple though, so I'll give it some credit there. Though as much as these tracks are different, they all kind of feel the same in a way. It doesn't help that the soundtrack consists of like 5 songs. Anyway, this race wasn't too bad. Nermal was on my tail towards the end of the third lap, but he was no match for Tiny Mouse and Big Car. The next track is called Prohibited Site, like a parental lock on a computer or something. You race through a construction site this time, which was pretty cool. I knew I had to fall out of bounds at least once, so I did that really quick in the first lap. Nermal and I began a rivalry in the second and third laps, constantly trading places, waiting for each other to slip up, which happened to me more than it did to him. The homing pie was my saving grace again, with a little help from the boost pad too. That was close. The third track was in Casco Park, and I'm sure I botched this name too. I couldn't tell if it was a school or a skate park, or both. Racing up the ramps was pretty fun, and there were quite a few boost pads, but the 3 on the side over here were too out of the way and not worth taking. Nothing noteworthy to say for this track. I crushed it and got first place. Loopy Lagoon is the final track. I'm almost done. Now this is another course where you have to be careful because you can potentially fall off the cliff. Woo, that was close. Or into the water off of the docks. Only an idiot would do that though. If you maintain your drifts and stay on the course, you'll have an easy first place win like I did. Now it was all over. I got gold trophies in all the Grand Prix and proved that you can beat Garfield Kart Furious Racing using only... Wait, what? That was just 100cc? Oh, right. I still have to do this on 150cc. Well, let's get on to it then. I'll try to keep this one a bit more brief without skipping the good stuff, of course. 150cc turned up the heat, as it should have. I couldn't quite put my finger on it as I was playing or now as I'm typing the script, but the game started to have a bit more of a janky feeling to it. Maybe the faster speed enhanced that. I'm not quite sure. Cats in the Hood started with another magnetic bumper fiasco with Harry. Then I tried to take a shortcut, which was nothing more than a bait and switch BP oil spill in the street. A few mistakes here and there, but I'd still end up getting second place. To me, crazy dunes are just normal dunes because I got first with the greatest of ease. Pale Rock Lake would pose a bit more of a challenge. Nermal and Arlene were tough to keep up with. I felt like I was about to close the gap until I got put to sleep in midair and said hello to my dear friend out of bounds. Cool. Thanks. off. That gave me a big ol' participation trophy in 4th place, one of the worst spots I've had in a while. It also put me 2 points below Normal in the standings, which was sort of a problem. If Normal got 2nd or 1st, it would lead to a loss or a tie, and you know I'm not accepting ties on Garfield Kart. I wasn't doing so hot on City Slickers. It was a constant barrage of being hit with items and slowdowns. While I was sitting pretty in 1st on the 2nd lap, the aliens decided otherwise and put me behind Arlene and Harry, until Harry fell off the map, but now that meant that Normal was right behind me, so I had no room or time for mistakes. I don't know how Arlene got so far ahead, but it didn't matter. I got 2nd place over Normal and won by a measly 2 points. Give me the pizza cup. P-I-Z-Z-A. In Country Bumpkin, we experienced the simple pleasures of the camera sinking into the ground and began the race. One singular chaos blast in the first lap put me in 3rd place and kept me there. No matter what I did, I couldn't seem to reach 1st or 2nd. And I didn't even get 3rd. I got left in the dust in 4th. Misfortune would carry over into Spooky Manor. I used my perfume a bit earlier than I should have and ended up nearly flipping my car, causing a respawn. I gave it my best shot here, but between getting hit with my own attack and a freshly baked pie, I knew my goose was cooked. So I reset the entire Grand Prix for a fresh start. I'd start to crash out both in the game and real life shortly after, so I gave myself the 3rd chance my ex would never even dream to give me, and got 1st place. Spooky Manor would also see the fresh new, totally redeemed Ray as well. 2 easy 1st place wins in a row. Maui Market had other plans. Let me show you. All that was left was Valley of the Kings, and I got decimated here. It started off with a simple pie near the start. That slowed me down a bit. It happens. But then I had the bright idea of trying to boost over a small little sand hill. Okay. Then the final nail in the coffin was using a boost over an average-sized hill, which launched me far beyond Kingdom Come into parts unknown. I was so far behind and pretty much ready to accept defeat. But Garfield's will be done. I got enough points to stay in 1st place and win the Grand Prix. Oh, no, wow. Okay, I won by 4 points. Let's go. Whoa, Hamburger Cup ahoy. Misty for me was going great, until a tactical pie hit me at just the right time to knock me into the water. That's cool. Sir, a 2nd pie would hit my car, but this time it actually saved me from a watery grave. For old time's sake, a 3rd pie would hit me right before I crossed the finish line. Sneak a Peek would continue the fun times of me getting into some kind of mess in the beginning of the race. Holy crap. Oh my god, that is so stupid. In the 2nd lap, I was gearing up to do my usual drive off the cliff until something in me clicked. There is no way in hell. There is no way in hell I just did that. I'd end up taking 4th, but for that moment, it was worth it. If only I could have foreseen the bamboozling of a lifetime in Blazing Oasis. I was having fun, racing, drifting, as I do. When I'm about to secure a scrumptious 1st place spot, I got hit with the classic 2 pie special. Now I was into some trouble again. With Odie leading in the standings going into the final race in Papa Pia's Pizzeria, I had to win or suffer the consequences. And boy howdy did I try. I tried with all my might. My heart and soul were all in on this. But Harry gave himself up as a sacrifice and blew us both up in exchange for Odie's 1st place finish. And another trip for me straight back to start. Man, who would have thought I'd have to reset a Grand Prix more than once in Garfield Kart? I got 1st place in the first 2 tracks, but Blazing Oasis had more plans for me. I hit Liz with a magic attack only to be given an Uno reverse card and more misfortune. Wow. I finished in 4th place, with Odie and Garfield just a few points away from me. Finally back to the Little Caesars factory. I kept up a top spot throughout the race, then decided the best time to choke was halfway through the 3rd lap. Dude, it just flicked me off the... What the... My god, you've got to be kidding me. My items are broken. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Oh, thank you. Got my 2 points. If I didn't have that boost, it would have been all over. I swear I didn't try to throw for the sake of content either. Sometimes it really felt like this game wanted to trap me in it forever. One more Grand Prix left. I was almost freed from the shackles of a below average racing game that no one was forcing me to play. My A game turned into a C game in Mysterious Temple. I just couldn't seem to get it together in this race, but a third place finish was hopefully not the end of the world. I kept up that energy in Prohibited Sight. Lots of banging into stuff and my personal favorite. Oh my god. I took second, but I definitely could have had first if I believed in myself more and harnessed the almighty power of friendship. Our lead and I were tied for first with 20 points each, so I couldn't afford to screw around anymore. The broken camera pan of Destiny in Casco Park boosted my spirits and replenished me with the energy I needed to take home the gold. Feeling rejuvenated with an 8-point lead, Loopy Lagoon was all that stood in my way between victory and having content to upload. This final track gave me everything. Conflict. Wooden poles. You know, I'd much rather hit that than fall off. And a car flip that almost made me lose it all. In fact, I almost did lose it all. I played so badly here, you'd almost think I took pleasure in it. In the end, I didn't even know if I won or not. Maybe? Nice, okay. But it was all a part of Garfield's divine plan. Every Grand Prix was completed and all the gold trophies had been collected, proving that you can beat Garfield Kart Furious Racing using only Squeak and no upgrades. Thank you all so much for watching. This game was pretty awful, and it wasn't enough that Squeak was so slow, but I also had to fight against this game's jankiness. A big old double whammy. Most of the racing games I've played so far have been really fun, even if the challenges were tough. But I gotta tell you, if you're thinking about trying this out for yourself, don't bother. It's not the toughest challenge in the world, but it's surely a slog. Maybe pick it up when it's on sale or something and give it a whirl if you so choose. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more challenges from me, don't forget to subscribe. Also, I stream all of my challenge runs live on my Twitch channel. If you'd like to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description, along with links to my other social media accounts if you want to keep up with anything else I do. Thanks again for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. And what's this? Oh goody, a desert racing track again!